Hello and welcome back to From the Workshop. I'm your host, Brandon Hart, and as you might be able to tell, because he's sitting right next to me, we have a special guest who has returned to From the Workshop to tell us about something new and exciting that's happening at NimbleLink. We've talked about M1. We've talked about the technology. We've talked about some of the things that make M1 special and that kind of thing. But this is really the opportunity to focus in on what we are releasing, what the product is, and who better to tell us about it than the man, the CTO, the head engine nerd of NimbleLink himself, Mr. Kurt Larson. Kurt.
Hello.
What have you brought with you here today?
Today we have the Skywire LTE CAT M1 modem for the Verizon network. This is the newest addition to the portfolio. This particular product in the Skywire family has some of the same features and benefits that the other Skywire products do, but we're going to talk about the specific details and the technical specs around this product. The first thing to point out is that these products are end device certified modems. And what that means is, as an engineer, you're able to design this into your product and do not have to go through additional FCC or carrier certification requirements or testing. And if you have any questions about that, please reach out to our sales team and we can provide you additional documentation that talks about the end device certification and how that applies to your products.
Yeah, those certification documents are listed on the website too. So people can find them on the individual product pages by just simply going to the nimblelink.com website, looking for the modem you're interested in, and finding them at the bottom of the page.
Correct.
Cool.
So what's new and interesting about the M1 product line is that this is the first network in the United States that supports the LTE CAT M1 technology from Verizon. And these particular products allow customers to use very low power electronics and designs so that customers can create very long battery life products, yet still take advantage of the cellular instant-on type technology. The other benefit is they're much lower cost compared to some of the traditional cellular chipsets because the technology has been that's required to connect to the network has been reduced, which further allows there to be less technical components that go into the modules and the modems, allowing it to be ultimately lower cost, not only from the modem perspective, but then also from the system that surrounds the modem. So your products, the baseboards that you're creating, the antenna systems that you're creating, are all lower cost when you put it all together.
Lower cost, lower power.
That's right.
Excellent.
That's the M1 promise.
Great.
On this particular product, we'll point out a few of the kind of the interface details that you as a customer would interact with. All of the Skywire modems have a common form factor. So what you'll find is the same physical dimensions on the outer edges. You'll find these two X1 and X3 connectors on the top. The first connector, the X1 port, is the primary antenna port. So this is where you're going to attach your LTE antenna for this particular product, and for all Skywire products for that matter. The second antenna location is labeled X3, and the X3 connector is the GPS connector on this product. On other products, the GPS connector is in different locations, but for this product, it is on the top side in this location.
So where's X2?
X2 is reserved for diversity antenna connection points, and this product does not use a second LTE antenna for diversity. It actually only uses the primary antenna for the LTE network.
Cool. So single antenna only, second antenna port there, which is labeled X3.
Yep.
Is just for GPS.
Just for GPS.
Okay.
And it's important to point out we sell two different SKUs, one with GPS support and one without. So they come at two different price points if you're not using GPS. Also on the top side, you'll notice the label. The label includes some important numbers that you will need for your product. One is the modem's IMEI number. The IMEI is part of the activation process. So whether you're connecting with your Verizon sales rep to get this modem activated on a data plan, or if you use the NimbleLink services at go.nimblelink.com, both of those are going to require an IMEI number to identify your modem module.
We actually just did a video on this recently, so we'll go ahead and link that video. I don't know.
Right about there.
There,
in your
okay.
face.
Great, right here. So if you want to know more about the process of locating your IMEI, the ICC ID for the SIM, and getting all of that service set up, I guess it's right here.
The other thing to note is they are barcoded. So as you think about how you're going to move to high volume production, you can use standard off-the-shelf scanners to scan these numbers, because they are, in the case of the IMEIs, I think they're 15 digits or 20 digits. Either way, you can scan it using the barcode, so you don't have to type it in every time when you're automating your production processes. Back to the features of the modem itself. On the back side, you'll find the 20-pin interface, which is used to interface to either the development kits that we sell or to your custom designed hardware. It's important to note that this pin over here is pin 1 in the system, and the pin over on this side is pin 20. So they count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 on the top side. The other important thing on the bottom side of the board is the SIM card slot. So all LTE devices require a SIM card to authenticate with the cellular network. And the SIM card slot in the case of these products is a micro SIM, which is a size 3FF. So if you're getting a SIM card from Verizon or another supplier, you need to tell them that it's a 3FF size that you need for your product. NimbleLink also sells SIM cards for these products, so you can find those farther down on this webpage.
So all you need to tell your Verizon rep, in this case, because this is a Verizon M1 modem, is that you need a 3FF SIM card.
Yes.
And it'll fit and work in the M1 Skywire modem?
Good question. So with the introduction of the M1 network on Verizon, there's actually been a new class of SIM cards created. And these SIM cards are specifically designed to support the M1 network features. So if you go to Verizon and just ask for an LTE 3FF SIM card, they will send you a standard SIM card, which is not designed for M1, and you will need to return that SIM card and get one that is specifically for the M1 network.
Yeah.
On this webpage, farther below, we do have the M1 specific SIM cards available for purchase through our distributors. If you buy the M1 development kits from NimbleLink, they also include a Verizon M1 SIM card, so you will have those at your disposal.
So just to be clear, Kurt stated it perfectly, but I want to just clarify. 3FF SIM cards in both cases. However, the 3FF SIM cards that are used for all other Verizon LTE devices up to this point, so that's going to be CAT 3, CAT 1, CAT 4, did I miss any? That's it.
Other stuff.
Will not work with this. This requires a specific LTE category M1 SIM card. If you're not sure where to find those, we have them available. Different SIMs.
So
Okay.
that's, I think that's about it for the hardware interface. The 20-pin interface on the bottom. This form factor is common across all Skywires, so if you're using different Skywire modem technologies, this interface has not changed. And then also the SIM card slot on the bottom. On the top side, the labels providing you the important numbers you need to activate the product, as well as the two U.FL antenna ports labeled X1 for the primary and X3 for the GPS attach point.
Cool.
Anything else we want to talk about?
I think one thing that I personally find interesting is on the GPS enabled ones. Remember, there are two different versions, one with GPS, one without. That GPS is accessed a little bit differently from the other Skywire modems we've previously provided that have GPS built in. Can you explain how that is done differently?
Yep. So through the 20-pin interface on the Skywire, on all Skywire modems, we support both a Uart interface as well as a USB interface. In the past, all the Uart and USB ports could be used in parallel, both for data and control connections. On the M1 products, there's a Uart that is required to be used for the data and control path. And there's also a USB path, but the USB path is only for firmware updates to the module. And that it's important to point out that the USB path is also not powered to save your system power when you're not doing firmware updates. Now, to get to the GPS piece, the GPS on this particular module is a separate receiver, and so there's a second UART that is brought out specifically to control the GPS portion of the product.
Mm-hmm.
And those are also available through this interface that we've created. So you have a UART that you must use for the modem communication. There's a USB path that you use for firmware updates in our development kits or any production fixtures you might create. And then a second UART, which is specifically for the GPS path.
Is that pins 17 and 18?
I don't know.
I think. Check this video over here, and we'll tell you all about that. Okay, great. Well, it looks like a really cool modem. Sounds like it has a lot of extra features that are unique to M1 and are brought out in the Skywire modem. So very cool to have it in the product lineup. And for more information, of course, go to the product page for the M1 Skywire modem, which is listed right here down at the bottom of the screen. I think this is the bottom of the screen. And thank you very much for walking us through that. Appreciate that. So until next time, everybody, thank you very much and have fun building.